Americans, respect, love, and cherish your Constitution that gives you the freedoms that you enjoy.
We're talking about the times and specifically about this professor who went on The View and said the Constitution's trash and a bunch of other things that seem nonsensical. So we're going to react to it. Come along with us. I'm Justin.
And I'm T.
I'm Joe. Let's cheers tea.
Tea.
Let's have tea.
Tea with tea.
It's called Allow Me to Retort, A Black Guy's Guide to the Constitution. Tell us about the book and why you wanted to write it.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do with this book is explain in layman's terms what Republicans are doing to the law. Because I honestly believe that if everybody understood it, they'd be as outraged as I am about it, and they'd be willing to do something about it.
Can I write a book retorting to his book?
A white man's eye to rebutting a black man's version of the Constitution.
I allowed you to retort. Now allow me to retort.
Yes. Let's all be reporting. Retort.
Or even better, maybe...
A retort to a retort.
Or maybe
Retort
even
to a
better,
retort.
people read the writings of people like Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams about the Constitution.
I don't think he's going to want to debate those folks because he'll probably lose. He's also only going after Republicans. Like, he's not just going, it's just, you know, it seems a bit one-sided.
Yeah.
Look, folks, the law is complicated. I'm not going to lie about that. But it's not beyond the reach of most literate people, all right? It's not sending a rocket to Mars and making it land just so it doesn't not, right? You can read, you can understand the laws that govern this country.
If the Constitution is there and if you can read, you can understand it, then why the hell are we reading his book?
It's actually a fair point. That is actually a fair point.
You can read it, can't you?
Why do I need you as the middleman?
You just said my point of this book is to try to explain it in layman's terms, and then he goes on by explaining how simple it is, and that if you can read, you can understand it.
So then why are we reading? It's a very valid point Joe brings up. Why are we reading your book, sir?
Can you read, my son? Well, that depends. Can you go fuck yourself?
Republicans are obviously trying to manipulate those laws to take away the rights of minorities, women, the LGBTQ community. You can see it all, and I try to explain it all in ways that people can understand so that we can fight them.
We need to fight them. Fight them in the streets, fight them in the fields, fight them on the beaches.
Who is he, the black Winston Churchill?
We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender!
He's not Winston Churchill, but he's talking in the assumption that somehow the Democrats don't also try to manipulate the Constitution or the legal system to benefit them.
Yes.
Mate, come on, be realistic now. This is politics. Both sides do the same thing.
This is madness.
This is politics.
The Democrats have banged on about gerrymandering, and somehow they've gerrymandered the shit for the next election cycle.
I agree with Joe.
This is not politics. This is some lunatic with crazy hair trying to sell a book.
I live in Florida, so I'm like on ground zero of where all of this is happening. I'm out of my mind about the bills banning conversations about race and ethnicity and LGBTQ, just even mentioning gender.
What she is referring to is the recent laws that have been passed in Florida, in which a lot of Democrat people on the left are saying that it's the "Don't Say Gay" bill. It's not that at all. If you actually read the bill, what they are saying is that if a child around the age of 6 or 7 starts saying that they are confused about their gender, they have to tell their parents, which apparently some schools were not. And bringing in concepts of sex and homosexuality to children that young, which I don't mean to sound old-fashioned. I don't think children that young should know about sex. I think
that's a very fair point. And I don't think that's old-fashioned at all. I think that's what we call common sense.
Well, yes, but common sense is
they're
not
also
so
trying
common.
to pass a bill in California right now, and in Canada. But basically, just saying, in order for these children to graduate, they also need to pass these ethnic and racial classes and criteria before they can graduate. And then that's what we said earlier, like literary rates and mathematic rates and science scores in America are declining, particularly after 2 years of kids being stuck in home with the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now
On a
you're going to
laptop.
mandate that they have to learn about racial diversity, the lack of equity and stuff, which is just not true. That's why you see all these parents coming out to these school board things and saying this is a bunch of tosh and a bunch of nonsense.
So are you arguing for throwing out the Constitution? Should the Constitution be thrown out? What do we do? Is it a living document? Or is it a sacred document?
It's certainly not sacred, all right? Let's start there. The Constitution is kind of trash.
That is the punchline. So he is on this show trying to sell a book where he interprets a document that he then goes on to say is not only just not sacred, but also trash. I would like to challenge, because I would like to challenge him here in this regard. I would like you to show me any document written anywhere in the world before 1800 that is better than the Constitution. This document is the basis of our individual freedoms and liberties that we enjoy in this country.
Okay?
And he's saying that it's trash.
Yes.
So he's saying that the same document that gives him the right to speak about how much he hates this document is trash. Buddy, this document is giving you the right to say this.
Buddy, he doesn't care about that. Everybody has to now say the word buddy when referencing each other. Listen, buddy, this guy is not your buddy. He wants to. Look, these people want to seriously tear down the foundations of the country and start afresh. So how do you do that? You have to write a book,
and they're being open about it now.
That
They never used to be.
You now have to fundamentally say that everything about America and everything is terrible and it's all, trash. Because when you call it trash, guys, what do you do with trash?
You throw it out.
You throw it out.
What do you want to replace it with?
That is the correct question.
What do you want to replace it with? The Communist Manifesto?
No,
the Soviet Constitution? What do you want to replace it with?
They want to write their own document, but
yes,
that's
exactly.
They won't do a better job, but
based on what the fuck they want. Based on what they want.
What do they want?
They're gonna put it in the document.
But I'm sorry, but if they want the Communist Manifesto, I say no. If they want the Soviet Constitution, I say no.
This guy wants to write his own document. I don't want to read your goddamn book, and I don't want to read your fucking Constitution that you write.
I mean, if it's based on the writings of Karl Marx and V.I. Lenin, then I say no. Categorically, no.
It is not easy to write a governing document. Is it perfect? It's not perfect.
No, by no means. But it is the closest thing to perfection there probably could be. Because you have to understand that the Constitution was labored over for many years. There were documents written about the Constitution called the Federalist Papers, where sides wrote against each other for differing opinions on how the Constitution should even be written.
Some of the founders didn't even believe that there should have been a Bill of Rights because they just thought that it was inherently obvious.
Yes.
But thank God that they lost.
Yes.
So we know that there is a Bill of Rights, and the First Amendment of that Bill of Rights gives this man the freedom to call the
Constitution trash. Yeah.
The same document that gives him the freedom to say that.
You can't say that about the Russian Constitution.
No.
Putin put you in gulag.
And before Putin, Stalin, Ivan the Terrible, Peter the Great.
Well, in Russia, they find that endearing. Well, they like those terms you see.
My point is that
they like being terrible and Vlad the Poker.
My thing was I would poke someone with implements. I was known as Vladislav the Poker.
This is the interesting part of the history of the Constitution, is again, that there was massive debates going on between what are the founding fathers of our country to ensure there were constant checks and balances. Not one particular branch of the federal government had all of the power. We're the only constitution that has something like this that is pretty much unbreakable. And this man is basically saying
he wants to break it.
This is too ironclad. Let's just throw it in the trash and start over. And the problem with all of human civilization society is that we don't just progress like, okay? It's a slow, gradual progression. And a lot of bad shit has to happen to a lot of people before we finally came to the realization, if we all just cooperate with one another, we'll progress a lot better. America today is probably the most accepting country of all nationalities, ethnicities, and religions.
This is the most multicultural nation in the world.
And we're super successful for the most part.
Compared to, I'm just pulling this up because I know it in my head. Thailand has changed their constitution something like 80 times in the last century, rewritten their constitution. Countries rewrite it all the time. Putin, that's why Putin is in charge now, because they wrote a constitution before, and then he changed it to give himself more power, and he changed it again, and he changed it again. When it's loose-fitting, that's bad if you can change it too easily to make the people in power. But at the same time, if it's too rigid and does not change at all, that's bad too. So ours evolves in a very nice way that has allowed us to, as Justin stated, progress to this country that is the most accepting of all cultures. And it is. Despite how racist it may seem, we are the least racist country in the world.
Let us know what you think. Give us a comment. If you liked this conversation, then please leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and the notification bell so you can see more of our content when we come out with cool videos talking about very serious things here on Men of the Times. Because I'm Justin.
And I'm T.
I'm Joe.
And we'll see you